If you're new around here and just tuning in, last week I released my first stop motion short after previously completing a few little test animations. And today I just wanted to have a chat a little bit more about the pre-production process that I went through for that short. Now, for my first short, Amour Tragique, which is available on YouTube, it's available in my feed here, it's available on TikTok, on everywhere. I'm at Redbeard Films Oz. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already, or check it out after this video. Now, because I approached this like it was a music video of sorts, as far as I had a predetermined track which had key musical moments that I wanted specific actions to hit, that required a lot more pre-planning so that it worked out the way that I saw it play in my head. So part of that process involved working out how much of the track I wanted to use, which I knew it was 1 minute and 30 seconds roughly of the track, which that way it limited the amount of animation that I had to do because it takes quite a while to animate. And then I was able to break that down into a 24 frame per second timeline according to its running time, and then have each frame know where, according to timing and frame number, where those key musical moments would hit. So after working that out and with that in mind, I then jotted down a list of notes which were related to the plot and were key plot points that I wanted to hit. It was then a matter of working out where on the timeline these sat, which brought me to this little mind map that I created, which was basically a start to finish of the frames, which I had key moments listed down in how many seconds into the track it was, as well as then also having that broken down into shooting in twos, where that was positioned at 12 frames per second and where that was positioned at 24 frames per second. This gave me multiple ways to keep track of where I was in the shoot, so as not to get lost. Now, there are programs that make this process a little bit easier, which I don't currently have. One of which is the industry standard, is ridiculously expensive and I can't justify getting it just yet, but hopefully down the track. And what that does is help keep track of what frame number you're at, so that it's easy to know when you're approaching key points that you've noted you need to have a specific action happen by then or after this time. Now, because I didn't have a program that keeps track of that, the way I kept track of that was a tally at the 12 frame per second timeline, and I just basically every 2 shots I'd put a tally down. And this is my little tally board here that I've created and used throughout the process to then reference down to my plot points and keep everything happening in time with the music, which it all worked out pretty well. But there was definitely some lessons learned in this. There's elements of this that I'll reuse in the next one. There's also elements that I'll change and use a slightly different process to try and streamline everything. Like I mentioned, obviously the best way is to get a specific program that assists in this process. But for the moment, I'm making do without that and learning new things in the process, so that's fine. So all of that ended up with something that looks like this and allowed me to keep track of my shots, have specific actions and plots hit specific musical moments, and end up with the little short that I did. So like I mentioned before, I'm at Redbeard Films Oz on all social channels, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't checked out the short, I highly encourage you to watch it and I've got plenty more planned for in the near future. And yeah, keep an eye out.